Well, Stefan, we did it.
Yeah.
Episode 300.
Uh-huh.
We're here.
Yeah.
We have a new theme song.
We do.
Which does mean that we will now no longer say Dan's phone number at the start of every episode.
That's right.
So I guess
Dan going 100 episodes without even thinking or considering but changing his phone number at all is so crazy.
Why would I do that?
Okay. Anyway.
I mean, I guess the beauty of it is that, you know, if people still want your phone number, they could go listen to any of the previous 99 episodes.
Yeah, it's not like that's going away.
Yeah, that's never going to go away.
It's out there forever.
Yeah. Well, no, again, you could just change your phone number.
You could change it at any time.
That's more trouble than it's worth.
So we've had Start the Party Dan. We've had Rip It Dan.
Sure.
We've had Dan's phone number.
Might as well just say it on this episode.
778-288-9255.
Okay, yeah.
And where do you think we should go from here?
Well, I've heard the theme song, the new theme song. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's by our friend Howell Dottie, of course.
Thank you, Howell.
The king of theme songs.
Yep.
And it's a bit darker. It's a bit of a darker theme.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should go with something like "We'll See You in Hell, Dan."
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. Love it.
All right. Cool.
We'll see you in hell, Dan.
The internet is dead. Facebook is a graveyard. Twitter's now called something else. Can't remember what the details are. TikTok is a feed of ads. And Instagram is somewhere worse than that. I guess we'll try out Blue Sky and Threads. Cause the internet is dead. But as long as there's a block button somewhere to press. As long as there's bad posts that need be addressed. As long as there's some segues that haven't been said, we'll be dancing through all of the graves of the internet. It's a block party with Stefan and John.
Thank you, Howell. Hello, friends, idiots, and friends who are also idiots. Welcome to your favorite podcast about social media and rejection. It is Block Party. This is episode number 300. I'm John.
I'm Stefan.
And with us is a fabulous guest, returning guest to the program. You may know him as one half of the Doughboys or from his fantastic video game podcast, How Did This Get Played? Nick Wiger is here. Hi, Nick.
What's
hey,
up,
buddy.
Wiger?
Thanks so much for having me. 300 episodes. What a milestone. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you mean to
much.
say millstone?
What?
I did mean to say millstone. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
All right. Yeah.
Just
slip of the
hanging
tongue.
from both of Stefan and I's necks. I think at the end of this episode, Stefan, I have to kick you into a pit, I believe.
That's right. Yeah.
How this works
That'll
for
be
episode
fun.
300.
Yeah. I think that could be.
And I got to do a really cool media cycle where I talk about the freaky sex I have.
Sure. Yeah.
That was you guys remember that when Gerard Butler did that whole he was like, I don't even have like two-way sex anymore. It's very boring to me, and I only have three ways and up.
I had a friend who worked with Gerard Butler. He goes by Jerry, which is like one of those. I love hearing celebrity things like what we actually how you call Robert De Niro Bob. But yeah, he goes by Jerry. And so Jerry Butler invited him. I'm calling him Jerry now. To hang out one day or to hang out one night. And he goes to the club, and Gerard Butler's there, and there's a bunch of women. And when he enters, Gerard says, "Welcome to the badness."
Oh my God.
Welcome to the badness.
It must be
to the
so
badness.
insane to be at that level of celebrity where you come up with the idea to say that,
Yeah.
and then you like follow through on it, and like it also probably works too, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
No
it
one's
100% works.
No, it's like, hey, Jerry, that's a weird thing to like opening line.
sort of off-putting.
Really just are like,
a little
oh, that's
bit.
his thing. All right, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
we'll go with
whatever.
it. Yeah.
I saw 300 and whatever that one with Katherine Heigl was. How to stay away from a woman or whatever.
It's the one where
The
he's
wrong
like
stuff.
he's like in jail or something, and there's like a lawyer, and like a car explodes at one point. I think.
There was
Yeah,
one
that's
jailed
that's-
lawyer.
He's got a. I mean, he had the Blank Has Fallen franchise. I actually kind of liked as like B action movies. Those are pretty fun.
Olympus, London. Was there a third one?
It was it Angel Has Fallen? It was something like
maybe.
that.
That might be right.
It
Yeah.
was.
It's weird because it came
wasn't
out around
bad.
the same time as the White House Down movies, sort of doing a volcano Dante's Peak thing, right?
100%. So I'm also this is a big thing in the States, obviously, but like I'm fascinated by the portrayal of movie American presidents over time.
Yes.
And like that came out at the apex of like or at least, you know, with the way movies are made, obviously it was shot a couple of years before it was released, but it was developed and shot during the time when it was like Obama sunglasses meme, like the president is cool now.
Yeah,
and so
Joe Biden drives a Corvette.
Exactly.
You know?
So it had like president as an action hero versus like, you know, you go back to like the 70s and like the political thrillers, the president was in the aftermath of Nixon was always like a sniveling coward. So and now I think it's kind of like all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an interesting era when they were just like, yeah, the president is an action hero.
Yeah, I think didn't that start probably with like Dennis Haysbert in 24, right?
For
that
sure. And well, and I think also, I mean, I think that was also like an outgrowth of Reagan, a literal movie star, and then Clinton, who was like another guy with like a lot of like charisma that people fawned over. Because that like Air Force One was another one, the Harrison Ford one.
I just rewatched that.
Yeah.
And it fucking rocks.
It kind of rips, right?
It still holds up. The only thing that doesn't really hold up is the plane crash at the end. Looks like footage from one, like, remember that like Taiwanese like news channel that does the 3D version of the news? It looks like worse than that. It's like really rough. Because it like skims across the water and it just, it's not. But the movie itself is
spoiler.
Yeah. Well, you haven't seen Air Force One?
Come on, no, of course not.
Right. Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, I'll never see it. I'll just tell you that for free. I'll never see that movie.
Are you not an action movie guy?
I'm not a movie guy in
Not
general.
a movie guy.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm just one of those guys, Wiger, where like I have seen quite a few movies, but it's a very like perplexing list. There's sort of like no rhyme or reason to anything that I've seen. Although I did see Despicable Me 4 in theaters. So.
That's not surprising though, because you are an animated movie guy.
Yeah.
Have you seen the rest of the franchise?
I have. Yeah. I went with my nephews, so like I'll be clear on that.
Sure.
I think I shouldn't say I've seen the rest. I've seen Despicable Me 1 and 2.
Okay.
I don't think I saw the third one, which was
3's
called,
a lot of fun.
I haven't seen the third one. Was
that
the Rise of Gru, or was that
no? The Despicable Me, the mainline Despicable Me films are just a number.
Just a
the
number.
Minions are the ones with subtitles.
Got
so there's
it.
Minions, and then Minions 2 is Rise of Gru, and
Rise of
Minions
Gru.
3 is coming out, and I don't know what the subtitle is.
Were you
I
a
have
little
not
lost
seen any
watching
of
the
the
fourth
Minions
one though?
ones.
Like watching the fourth one without seeing the third one.
I was really lost.
Yeah,
I was like, who is this? You know, like Gru came out at the beginning and I couldn't remember who he was.
Sure, yeah.
There's a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
He had more kids this time, I feel like.
They introduce a new kid in 4. Look, 4 is kind of it's just kind of bloated. It's just got too many characters, got too much going on.
Yeah.
And so they introduce a fourth kid, like a biological child of Gru, because his 3 daughters are adopted, and so he has a biological son now, like Gru Jr., who they inexplicably don't call Grunier at any point. Just a real
missed opportunity there.
Unbelievable.
Wiger in the writer's room just for that one idea.
Yeah.
I would have had all sorts of ideas for him. Anyway, but the main thing that didn't need necessarily more cooks. What it needed is some streamlining.
Sure.
Like it's just got because they have those 4 kids, and then there's a 5th kid who's his neighbor who wants to be an aspiring supervillain, and it's like, why did they add this 5th kid when they could have just taken one of his existing daughters? They have another daughter who's the same age as this new character. And they could have just been like, hey, Miranda Cosgrove's character, she doesn't have a lot to do in this movie. Maybe she is just like, hey, I want to learn the family business. I want to be a supervillain.
That makes so much more sense.
Would have made things so much cleaner.
Yeah.
But I think they wanted to get another celebrity in.
I'm
to voice
intrigued.
this new character.
I'm intrigued about sort of maybe the conflict between the biological son and the 3 adopted daughters. You know,
Oh, that's coming up. That's Despicable Me 5 for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be explored.
They'll call it like 5 for fighting or whatever, and then they'll all be fighting each other. And so, so Wiger, you're sort of like you're a bit of a savant when it comes to the Despicable Me universe.
Well, I've just seen them all, and I am a fan. Look, I like the movies. I do think the Minions are like just great. Like, and as an animation fan, I mean, I think you can acknowledge that it's just great classic physical comedy. These are just vaudeville gags. They are silent movie gags. You know, it's really well animated. I think that stuff is really fun. All the other peripheral stuff, like basically everything that's not Gru and the Minions, I don't really care about. And the problem I think with Despicable Me 4 is it's so focused on like Gru's family, and then also like Will Ferrell, the supervillain, and then his supervillain wife Sofia Vergara. It's like it spends so much screen time to these two different things that I'm just like, let's get back to what your bread and butter here.
Yeah, we don't need the lore of Despicable Me. And we're all adult animation fans here, and I think we're the ones that they should be catering towards.
Well, Stefan, yours is a little bit of a different adult animation that you're into, but
that's true. I'm a big fan of
you're a capital
Stripperella.
Yeah, you're a capital A adult animation fan.
I just watched the show Plus Size Elf. This anime, and I watched it because of the thumbnail.
Sure.
And I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just like, all right, what the Plus Size Elf? What the fuck is this? And I click on it. It's 13 minutes. I was like, that's weird. And I watched the show. I watched the first episode. It's just and it's just on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It's like a BBW fetish anime. And what it is this elf comes from this like tranquil forest world. She steps through a portal. She comes to, what's analogous to our world. She falls in love with French fries specifically. She has like nothing this delicious in her world. So she just eats a bunch of French fries. She gets like overweight. She goes to see a physical therapist or a healthcare worker, some sort of like generic sort of like guy who helps with a personal trainer, whatever it is. It's vague what his role is. And she's like, I need to lose this weight. And I was like, okay, I kind of get it. And it's kind of silly and light. And then he's like, oh, you need a massage. She's like, okay, pulls her fucking top off, her fucking big belly or big titties flop out. I was like, this is fucking insane. And I'm just watching it cold. I'm just like, I don't know what this show is, but let's check it out. And then it's just
now
mad.
all of a sudden you're jacking off.
Now all of a sudden I'm watching all the episodes.
Now, subs or dubs? That's the important question.
It's only subbed. I get the feeling, and it looks very low budget. So I have a feeling they didn't have like when they localized it, they were like, well, we're not going to dub this thing. We're just going to like dump it on Amazon Prime.
For sure, yeah.
Under their high dive channel.
Plus Size Elf. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to
check it out.
Yeah.
I hate to go back to Despicable Me, but I do, Wiger, I need you to weigh in on one more thing here, because I'll say what pissed me off the most about Despicable Me 4 is they introduce these new kind of like super minions. And
the ripped minions, right?
The mega minions,
yes. But then they don't really affect the outcome of the plot. Like there's the big final fight, and I'm just assuming, okay, the mega minions are going to be the ones who save the day.
Nope.
And they were barely involved. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
They come for a little tag at the end. I think they were first of all, I don't think they should have added the Gru Jr. character at all. I think it's such a distraction, and it also takes away from kind of like the core, like, found family sort of aspect of the Despicable Me. Is like the whole thing is like, oh, like whatever. And now it's also like, oh wait, actually he has a biological kid too. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it kind of undermines thematically what you've established. But anyway, that's beside the point. The main thing is they have to spend so much time on the baby, and then they have basically like it feels like a pretty direct ripoff of the Incredibles Jack sequence.
Yes,
where Gru's baby becomes a super baby and then does some sort of like super heroic, things to stop Maxime Lamal, who's the cockroach character played by Will Ferrell. And it's like, I want the Mega Minions there. I don't want to be Gru's super baby. I want the Mega Minions who've established all your marketing is around them. I went to Universal recently. All of their toys there are Mega Minions.
All
they have
the
so
toys
much Mega
are
Minions
Mega
merch.
Minions.
It's all focused on that. And it's C-story at best. There's like 4 scenes with the Mega Minions. There's one fun and games thing where they go around and they clean up the town. But that's it. They are not factored into this.
That's such a bait and switch
climax.
I feel
it really is. It's
I feel seen because that's why I came out of there and I was like, why do we even have these guys? I mean, they happen to sell toys, but it's just like, give me more.
Ridiculous.
That would sell more toys if I knew a little bit more about them.
Do you think we'll be seeing them in the new Minions movie?
The problem is it's a split timeline. So because that's a prequel, we can't have them. But here, that brings me to another thing.
Sure.
So in Minions: The Rise of Gru, which was the last Despicable Me film that was made, that's a prequel to this one. And there was a breakout minion in that movie, Otto. Otto has braces. He's super talkative. He's super funny. People love Otto.
Okay.
That's an invitation to have Otto be in Despicable Me 4 because that's a prequel. So you can be like, hey, Otto, you remember him from that previous one? He's also part of the Minions crew. So we're just going to see him around. In fact, he's going to be one of the Mega Minions. How about that? How fun would that be?
Yeah.
But
because it's a guy with braces.
Guy with braces. Yeah. Maybe he's got big, powerful chompers. He just chomps through walls. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, they fucked it up. They fucked it up bad.
What
I
a-
think
what
they
a
just, I think they just
disappointment.
overthought it. It's
Yeah.
and it is a bummer because I I'm rooting for these movies.
I mean, you brought up plus size elf. What about a BBW minion?
That would be fun.
We're
I'm
ready
gonna,
for that.
You know what? I'm just gonna see. There's probably no chance that there's like art of this online, right?
Yeah, I guess it is fitting to celebrate episode 300 with some Rule 34. We
There's
haven't
no.
really
Oh God. Okay,
haven't really
never
been
mind.
down that what.
I don't know. I
You're
just
seeing
think
some trouble. If it's troubling you, then that means it must be really bad.
Well, the problem is plus size elf could also just be a generic like deviant art search. You know what I mean? You might not end up with stuff that's specifically from the manga or the anime.
Yeah, this is the three minions having sex with I think she was in the Mandalorian.
Okay.
Played by
sort of a cross universe type.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
They
has
met at a press junket.
I guess so. She's like the orange alien who has like the blue, like sort of like tentacles on her head or whatever. She was in the Clone Wars, I think. But they're just like going to town on her right now. So
Yeah, I don't-
not right now, but
I don't need to see
in the
that.
picture I'm looking at.
Right now, at this moment, there are several minions going to town on this
Yeah.
tentacled. Are her tentacles involved?
She's just I mean, the minions are doing most of the anyway, it's
I feel like if the minions are gonna couple with any character from the Star Wars universe, it should be Maz Kanata from episode 7.
like the 900-year-old lady.
Yeah,
right?
because like she kind of looks like a minion.
She has the
I feel like
goggles, right?
she has the goggles.
Yeah, yeah,
She has a minion kind of coloration and character design.
Right,
I
where
could
they
see
would
the
almost
minions-
be confused. They would fall.
Yeah,
They'd be
exactly.
like,
Like,
"Oh, are
for
you
sure.
a minion?"
They'd
Yeah.
say like Bella, which is what they say when they get horny for a yellow fire hydrant or whatever. So that would be
Right.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see the minions having sex with Yoda. Probably.
Yeah, they're about the same size.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that would work.
That
Yeah, I
sounds
mean-
right for sure.
Yoda.
Yoda feels like Yoda to me feels like he's got a vibe of like he's just laying back. Like
Oh.
Yoda's not doing the work. He's laying back
Yeah.
and getting sucked off. He's not.
You think I'm almost picturing like a lemon party thing where like, yeah, he is sort of laying to the side
Yes.
of them with his soft penis.
Like Hugh Hefner, I am. Just lying back with a fucking Viagra boner, not moving.
Yeah,
Women
Yoda
need-
needs Viagra for sure.
Oh,
I
no
mean, there's
question,
no
yeah.
doubt about that. He
Yeah.
definitely has trouble.
Or
going.
he's getting Luke to raise up his cock using the Force, right? Right?
Yeah,
Like with the
right.
X-wing out of the swamp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. It's too big. That's what he says about he says that about the X-wing, but he's in this situation.
In this
saying about
situation, he is talking
Yoda's
about his
hog.
dick. Yeah, for sure. That's interesting because I was sort of picturing him as having quite a small penis.
I think so, but it could also be like it's like a sneaky, disproportionately huge sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like a turtle's. If turtles don't
Oh.
notoriously have like out of proportionally huge dick.
The turtle dicks are terrifying.
Yeah.
What?
Have
I
you
feel
not?
like I don't even know this.
Oh my god! I almost don't want to get into this. It's like so nasty. Like
Really? Like what are they kind of like are they one of those animals where like their dick is sort of hidden until they get
yeah, I think
until
so.
they get down to business?
It's in a
and then
sheath of some kind, I believe, and
Right.
then it's like, but it's like huge and like it's shaped
Yeah.
like a. It's shaped like some sort of big like bladed weapon or something.
Well,
like
I guess
it's
I'll
just-
just go look at
Sure.
it on my own here.
Yeah.
And I probably shouldn't be doing this, but
I saw two turtles fucking once at the zoo.
what?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
One turtle
Did
was
they go
like,
really slow?
they kind of did, yeah, honestly. They were two
Oh.
like big tortoises.
Okay.
Whoa. Okay.
They're kind of
these-
doing it doggy style.
Yeah.
It was very
Oh.
moist.
Oh no. Oh, what is that?
Yeah. Are you looking
Yeah.
at the turtle?
Well, I'm looking at one of the penises. It says it's a 5-lobed penis structure, and I don't like that.
I'm not even sure if mine has one lobe.
You might have to chat. You might have to
Yeah.
talk to your doctor. Steph.
Yeah, what's the lobe to inches conversion ratio?
Yeah.
No. Why? Okay. One of the first searches is also penile prolapse.
Okay. Well, you don't have. That's.
I don't-
just-
that's-
I mean,
that's-
I don't
come on.
think we need
Get
to
outta
see
here
that
with that.
one. Yeah.
No, I just had to.
No, no,
see
no, no,
it.
I know,
didn't-
of
I'm not
course. Yeah,
saying
yeah.
I wanted to see
Yeah.
it, but
I did this one came up in this one is very funny to me because it did come up in the Minions search on Rule 34.
oh, geez, come on now.
But Did you click on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, for fuck's
Wiger, you don't have to click on it if you don't want to, but if you sort of, I mean, Dan could bring it up, I guess, and put it.
Is this a prolapse penis?
It's
No,
not.
no,
I
this
will
is-
say the
this
minion is not.
cartoon.
The minion
It's
is
a
not the
cartoon.
focal
What's
point.
Okay,
going
I
on
can,
with the
I
end
can
of that
basically
penis?
handle. I can handle any hentai, so this should be fine. Oh
Okay.
yeah, that's really bad though. That's really awful.
Yeah, that's really tough.
What
to
is
watch.
going on with the end of the penis? What is that?
That's the
It's
Grinch's.
cum, I
That's the
guess?
Grinch's pre-cum. I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
freeing, okay.
he's leaking a little bit.
He's yeah.
So the Grinch is for audio listeners. The Grinch is
Well, this isn't on the video either.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't
got
think
it.
we
So
can
for
put this
everyone.
on YouTube. Probably.
Probably not.
He's bent forward
Mhm.
and looking back towards the camera, but in the foreground is his hard cock dangling down with a little bit of pre-cum. He is uncircumcised, which I buy.
Yeah.
Has some very
I buy
Pu-
that. I buy.
Yeah.
pubes the same color as the flesh of his hog, and then a
Yeah.
very pink asshole.
Yeah,
Something
it's
has
like
recently
if-
been.
It would be
up
like if
there.
this was a picture, the camera person is laying flat on the ground, pointing the camera up.
It's basically
between
like
the Grinch's legs.
if you're familiar with watching like pornography, it's like generally thought of as like the worst porno angle, where the focal point is the guy's asshole,
Yeah,
right?
I
And-
didn't realize because so this is a very large image, and I scrolled down a little bit at the bottom of the frame,
Yes.
just peeking up is the
That's-
top of a minion's head.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think the reason they did that is so they technically could use the minions tag on Rule
got it.
34. So if someone's searching for a minion, they will still see this image will come up. And I just want to point this out. We're talking about animated movies, and the Minions and Despicable Me. Is that Illumination? Is that
Illumination? Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe this is the Grinch from the Grinch movie.
Yeah, no, it's not-
because he's got the scarf, right?
yes, it's. Wait, is this the Illumination Grinch?
I
or
think
this
it is because
the different Grinch?
he's got the scarf, right? I'm pretty sure doesn't Benedict Cumberbatch has the
Yeah,
has the scarf.
he looks grown up is the thing. Like he looks a little bit.
Oh,
like
that might
more-
be artistic license.
Yeah,
I
I
think
guess
so.
that's
You're
maybe
not,
what it is.
yeah.
I like, Stefan, that your tone of voice sort of slipped into almost like professorial.
Sure.
So now we are looking at the Grinch's asshole here, but we do have to consider Minions. Now that is Illumination, correct?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
interesting too that you were saying the Grinch's pubes because he is covered in green fur, right? So what's the distinguishing factor between pubes and fur? In
That's
this
a
case?
great question. I've often wondered where kind of like pubes end and then like taint hair and then like ass hair like begins if you kind
Well,
of
and it-
follow that sort of meridian.
You've
looks
often
like
wondered that, have you? Ivan?
Yeah, I've thought about. Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
occupies my thoughts most days.
It does look like his ass has been waxed, I think, too.
He has a
probably.
waxed asshole.
Yeah.
Maybe
Definitely.
freshly waxed. Maybe that's
And
why it's pink.
potentially bleached as well, because it is sort of not. I was
It kind of
expecting.
stands to reason his asshole would be green.
That's what I was thinking, right?
But like his glands is also pink. Like if you
Yeah.
see
oh,
like
that's
his
true.
his
head of his
foreskin is
cock
retracted.
Yeah, that's Yeah.
Interesting.
It is
Anyway, if you're
a lot to
wondering if
think
Block
about,
Party
yeah.
was going to change for the next 100 episodes, it's not. It's
No,
just going to
it's-
be the same show all the time. It's
really
never going to
is.
be any different.
Yeah.
Horny Angie comments on this. God damn, give me that ass.
It's so good that they do have comments allowed on the Rule 34
Yeah.
website. I think
What
well,
is
yeah,
worse? What is worse, drawing this or jacking off to it?
I don't want to yuck anyone's yum here.
I do.
John, of course, but I would say I think it's a skillfully drawn Grinch, right?
Yeah.
I'll give
it's
him
also
that.
pretty. It's also I think like kind of funny.
It's
Like-
it's
Oh,
funny.
it's definitely
you know?
funny.
A perspective. I feel like this is like a tough perspective to draw, right?
Yeah, maybe
Like-
there was an AI assist in terms of like get it, but it does feel like there's some craft here.
Oh yeah, because he's even like grabbing his cock too,
Right.
right? So I would
I
say
don't want to say I maybe this artist used zero AI. I meant more like AI assist for like reference for like a reference image. I don't want to say
Yeah.
impugn this artist.
Just wanna
Yeah,
be-
you would
I
hate
just want
to
to be clear.
insult
Touchy
the
thing.
artist who did this such great drawing of the Grinch's freshly waxed and bleached asshole.
the guy who's like getting ready to jack off to this and is like, wait, is this AI generated?
Yeah. For sure,
my
there's
God.
an argument on like the Discord for this or whatever. Like, can you
Yeah.
guys get off to AI? Like, I just find when I know it might be AI assisted, I just can't get into it.
Oh well, look, I do wanna move away from the Rule 34 stuff, but this is episode 300, and I do think
can't spell 34 without 3.
That's true, which is part of 300. I just think, let me see if I can find this here. I think we would be doing our listeners and Wiger a disservice if we didn't bring this up. But this is, to me, just the ultimate post on Rule 34. How familiar? Who's your favorite Looney Tune, Wiger?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Yeah,
I always had like I always liked Elmer Fudd, but I don't feel like that's a good answer.
Okay.
I was going to say, is your answer changing because you know you're about to see porno of this character?
I really would not want. I don't think Elmer Fudd porno. I mean, I can handle any sort of hentai, but like I feel like that would be.
Yeah,
might be
I will say
revolting.
he's not in this picture. I guess it's because he's like a human, and these are all animals. That would be disgusting.
Okay, so if we're talking of the animals, I think I like Sylvester.
Okay, well, Sylvester is certainly in here.
Okay, great.
I'll send this along. Dan and John are very familiar with this. Dan
I'm just gonna go ahead and okay, it's the one I've seen before.
You've seen this so many times before.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
This is maybe my favorite picture on the entire internet. The more I think about it, because there's such a story being told here.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Tableau.
What stands out in this image to you?
You know, it's interesting because you just kind of look at it for a minute, and I think it might be that they decided to draw nipples on a few of the characters, like Foghorn Leghorn, Sylvester, and Foghorn Leghorn has pretty prominent nipples, but also Bugs Bunny has nipples, but then some of the other characters don't.
Yeah,
and then also the other thing is, it looks like Daffy is getting railed up the ass from Bugs, and then he's also sucking off Porky Pig.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's maybe my favorite part of this is that it looks like he's just biting him.
It looks like he's just kind of biting him with his bill. But I also has a nice little detail, which is you can see Daffy's hard cock just kind of peeking out there.
Yeah, but it is flesh colored as well, which is
it is flesh colored. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I've actually never thought of this before.
Sure.
And this might be my new favorite, is that I guess Taz's cock is at the end of his chin.
Yeah,
that's really
never
weird.
Noticed that before.
Really strange, the anatomy.
Yeah, Taz has that kind of like
he's got a big face,
a beard,
almost, right?
like a mane, a beard, and his dick is part of that. It's not like separate from
because that is a part of the drawing. That's maybe my other favorite part of it, is that they haven't finished like shading in the head of Taz's cock, so it's like
no, it has no texture to it.
It's got no texture to it, but I never really made that connection that wait a second, that is like his chin.
It's
like
chin,
his dick and balls are like directly
below
below his mouth. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, the implication is that his cleft chin is his ball sack.
I believe that's what it is. Yeah. And I will also say it sort of looks like some of the perspective here is not maybe what, like, if you wanted to get like the original like Looney Tunes artists, you got like, or like Tex Avery or whoever to do this, right? Like I think the perspective would maybe be a bit better, but it does look like Foghorn Leghorn's hard cock is sort of like above one of his legs. It's like on the right side of his body.
It's kind of like you look at medieval art before they'd invented perspective. It's kind of that sort of thing. It's just like, oh, these characters in the distant background are the same size as the characters in the foreground. It's kind of all over the place.
That's what the artist would say as well. If you directly critiqued him, he'd say, actually, with Foghorn, I was going for more of a medieval art type thing where they hadn't quite figured out perspective yet. But obviously you're too simple to get that.
Yeah.
Right.
Other thing I like is that it does seem to, the implication kind of seems to be that like Bugs Bunny is like wearing some sort of like suit, maybe. Way his like white belly sort of works, and it does look like he's wearing like a spandex like silver suit of some kind.
Like his fur is some sort of a costume he can take off at will.
That's interesting, and something maybe I would like to see more of if they ever bring back the Looney Tunes.
It'd be a fun thing to explore.
Is he wearing some sort of sexual latex suit of some kind?
Sylvester's just kind of off on his own there, isn't he?
And Tweety more so. Tweety's just, they're
just hanging out.
He ran out of room for Tweety. I'm guessing the original plan was Tweety and Sylvester were going to be doing something.
Sure.
And then he drew Sylvester and he's like, there's not really a great way to get Tweety in here. I'll just put Tweety in the bottom.
Tweety also should be much smaller, I think. Again, maybe this comes down to the perspective thing, but I think
he's got a huge hog.
He does. The missed opportunity here, I think, is to like shove Tweety's head like up Sylvester's ass or something, right? You just have his legs sticking out, right? Bottom, because he's so small.
Stefan, have you ever looked at the comments on this?
Yeah, the
comments are insane.
The one comment is unbelievable, which I can't believe we've never talked about.
There's two comments. They were posted approximately 3 minutes apart.
Yeah, so definitely
at the height of COVID. Yeah, April 28th, 2020.
This guy's just alone in his studio apartment, just fucking jacking off to this image. It's like, I gotta get my voice out on this.
It did not take long for this guy to lose his mind in COVID. Like for most people commenting on Looney Tunes orgy drawings, that was more of a June, July thing. But this guy was already going through it in April. He was.
This guy was like a professor of inorganic chemistry at like Vanderbilt University, and then 6 weeks of lockdown. He's commenting on Looney Tunes hentai.
The first comment, April 28th, 6:54 p.m. And I presumably the Pacific time zone. They don't say what the time zone is, but I assume it may be changed. John, what's the time zone showing for you? Actually, is it 6:54?
Yes, it is showing.
So we're not sure we don't know I'm assuming it's in the evening though. And he says, I'm assuming
it looks like a 24-hour clock, Stefan. So
you know what?
First thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning. You're right. Yeah. So they say only reply if you get the undear this. And I think they meant to say under, and I think maybe they're saying this is the only reply you're going to get under this. Maybe. Unclear. But then just under 3 minutes later, and I have to think maybe this is the same person, but
I am almost positive it's the same person.
And I actually don't know if it is. It might not be, because it's a different. It's a completely different tone, right? Because the first one is more.
Yeah, because they came, I think, or they're maybe.
But the first one is more about just the concept of posting in general and like the amount of replies they're going to get and everything, and just that sort of thing, right? And then this one is more of like an action, like they're saying this is like they're getting into character almost. So what they say is. And there is a word in brackets here that it denotes action. I would have used maybe asterisks, but that's
cleaner,
a bit more clear. But they say you got a tight little man pussy on you, don't y'all? And then in brackets, smells, and then after that, it stinks. So
yeah, John, I buy your theory of post nut clarity to a degree. Like he posted the first thing, jacked off. He busted, and then he had a follow-up, but the follow-up seems hornier is the issue. Yeah. Like I think if it was like, I'm not horny anymore, I think it would be
the rare person to get hornier after nutting, maybe.
And then they went, that's the only reply you're going to get under here, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Wiger, thank you so much for being on the show for the final
thanks
time.
For having me.
This is so great, and
what a hoot.
I promise I will never email you again.
No, this is great. This is good stuff.
I didn't realize now, Stefan. Have you seen this thing on the left here that says
all the tags and stuff, or the on this button?
Come on this button.
Yeah, I think that's maybe their version of like a Reddit like upvote or updoot, if you will.
Okay.
So it might be something.
No, I think it's what I think it is it's apparently it says you can only come once a day on here, but then when you come, you click this link and you report that you did. Is what that's how I'm seeing it.
That's sort of interesting. I was thinking in my head, I was like, man, I do kind of wish Mitch was here to see this, and then I was like, what if he was the guy commenting? What if that was the big reveal?
Mitch is just strangely silent during the whole He's like, wait, when did you say that comment was from? April 2020? Oh, okay, yep.
The other thing I like, and we can move on from this anytime you guys want. Just say the word. But I do like, and this is something that's like, it's very intriguing to me. The amount of tags on the side of the page here just like are so in depth. The amount of you click on one of these and then this would show up under those tags. So you have humanoid penis. You have looking at viewer, because a lot of them are looking directly at the camera or the viewer. Penis size difference. Followed by pig, followed by pleasure face. That's a pretty good run right there.
Yeah.
Suck and fuck, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
so just a lot of dual hand job.
I'll tell you this: I'm not surprised that the people who jack off to Rule 34 know exactly what they want.
That's right. That's
maybe the least surprising thing to me.
Yeah, I will just say I'm glad I'm like really on the spectrum for like sports cards and stuff, and not this, because this would be like
right.
Yeah.
So there's a top following what you were saying about the I Came feature.
Mhm.
There is a top list.
Okay.
Which is the.
Oh my God!
Did you click on this? The top 100 came on characters.
Some really bad names on here.
Yeah. So the top.
Oh, Jesus
I believe
Christ.
the top 10, shockingly for me, is dominated by Fox Animation.
Animation domination.
Yeah. Well, hey, there you go. But I mean, like Francine Smith, who I believe is a character from American Dad,
she's the wife in American Dad.
The wife in American Dad
Makes sense, I think.
Then it gets really disturbing because we've got a number of children here.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
I'm not going to click on Lisa Simpson or Meg Griffin.
Yeah, they are
Marge
2 and 3,
Simpson,
though.
number 4.
Yeah,
Haley Smith, another American Dad character. Lois Griffin, number 6. I'm just Amy Wong from
Amy
Futurama.
Wong, okay.
Number 11 is just.
Oh
God, I just God,
yeah.
this is
not
awful.
even gonna say that.
That's interesting though. Leela all the way down at 18. Amy Wong.
Yeah, you would think a one-eyed human character would be.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of surprised because I feel like usually when you're looking at, I kind of feel like hentai is usually more, or I guess just like, Rule 34 stuff. I usually see more video game stuff, more nerd culture stuff.
This
feels like more just like mainstream comedy, like just primetime animation.
They're a lot further down the list. Like you do see, Samus is there, obviously Princess Peach, that sort of thing.
Like May from Overwatch, I'd be like, oh well, Overwatch is going to be like top 10, but no.
This is an interesting
56
back to back here. 30 and 31, the Wii Fit trainer followed by Jake the dog from Adventure Time.
So there's a counter here. So the I Came counter for the Wii Fit trainer is 48,821. So
how many of this? That's got to be like the same person.
I know. That's what 50K loads. Is it from one guy or is it just what is going on here?
Oh,
I clicked it and nope. I'm out. That's it for me. I'm done, guys. I love the idea of a Doughboys fan who's never heard our podcast before being like, I love when Nick guests on other pods, and this is about as far as they're probably going to make it before they go, it's not for me.
I don't think this is completely out of bounds in terms of the Doughboys subject matter, to be completely honest. We go blue. So
I think,
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good to know. Speaking of going blue, let's move on to our social media updates.
What a fucking good segue. Now let's move on. It's time to discuss what popped up in your feed. Who are you following? What did you see? Sports or politics, tweets and skis, hot takes on the TL or fast food freaks. It's our social media update.
Wiger, we always like to start with the guest. What is going on your social media?
Thanks so much for teeing me up. So we talked about a little bit about this in advance because I've been off social media for a couple of years now. Yep. I obviously still absorb some stuff secondhand. I'm in group chats where tweets and other posts get circulated. But I thought I'd just talk and this being the 300th episode and part of the wonderful new theme song, just an absolute banger from Howl. One of the things that I feel like that song touches on is like, that these sites are kind of dying. And I thought I'd just talk about a book that pertains to this that kind of has like, I read this book during deep pandemic when I was kind of way too online and way too on my phone and I was losing my mind and I got away. I felt like from what I was originally doing on as Twitter in particular, but like across social media where I felt like I was like originally like, hey, I'm on here to like post jokes and like interact with people and have fun. And I got to the point where it's like, this is totally joyless and I'm just angry and I'm picking fights and I feel like I'm a scold and I look at my own feed and I'm just like, this is like a bunch of like humorless, like I feel myself turning it into one of those just like, insufferable old liberals, you know what I mean, who are like, oh, you're a funny stand-up, I'll follow you, and then their posts are like, democracy is on the ballot this November. It's just like, this is not why I want to interact with
love
you. You know
whose
what I mean?
line is it anyway? Time to follow Greg Proops.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I kind of at least had the sense of like, I feel like I'm kind of becoming that, and I got to get away from this. I got to do something. So I read a book that was recommended to me, and it's got I'm going to hold it up because I got it in front of me. But this is going to be my social media update because I think that this is a thing that maybe might help some people who are perhaps listening to your show and are like, I'm on my phone too much. I'm on social media too much. This shit's driving me crazy. I'm not actually getting any joy out of this. It's just a thing I'm used to doing. The title is very cringe, but this book changed my life.
Okay.
It's called How to Break Up with Your Phone.
All right.
And this is by Catherine Price. It is a pretty slim volume, very readable, very breezy. And what it is like a 30-day plan for reducing your phone use. And specifically, a lot of it pertains to social media, but it's also just like very simple, easy to follow things like, hey, don't use your phone as your alarm clock, because then your phone is going to be within arm's reach when you go to bed. And when you wake up in the morning, you're going to be looking at your phone while you're lying down. You're going to be looking at it just before you go to bed and get riled up.
Interesting.
So
okay.
like things like that. So like, but another thing it prescribes, which some people can follow. I'm very, very lucky to be able to follow this because I don't have childcare concerns or job concerns that necessitate me being on the phone 24/7. But like I have a digital Sabbath each week that I've maintained for like 3 years now. On Sunday, I just don't use my phone at all. And it's like consistently the best day of my week. So I would recommend this book to anyone, How to Break Up with Your Phone. I just followed the 30-day plan because I didn't have fucking shit to do while I was locked down. And it just it feels a little bit corny at times, but it was actually transformative and has resulted in a permanent decline in my usage of my phone and social media in particular.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
about your Sunday, your Sabbath and everything, and
Yeah.
I know how much you love it. That's something I wouldn't mind trying. I think like I feel like I use my phone way less since I just deleted Twitter off my phone and then just deleted my Twitter also. Like that was so much of my phone usage.
It's crazy how much that does. Like one of the first things it prescribes is like, just take all social media off your phone. And I was, at the time I was like, that's fucking crazy, but I'll try it. And I did it. And it was just like amazing how many fewer pickups I had.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I'm not constantly being besieged by notifications about some post I can dunk on or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Like I think being off Twitter has been maybe not, it's not good for my career, maybe, but like it's
horrible for your career, quite honestly.
It's not good
maybe
for my
one
career.
of the worst things you've ever done.
Probably,
maybe one of
yeah.
the stupidest things you've ever done.
Honestly, probably.
Do you actually feel that that's true? Because like I feel like I've like
I see the numbers. I know it's true. I'm 100% sure that it's true.
I thought that it was like it might be an issue for me when I got off of Twitter, and it didn't seem to have much effect one way or the other. But I also feel like that could just be like where Twitter is right now. You know what I mean? But
that's part of it too. I think
it's been like 2 years since I basically left.
Yeah, I feel like if I was still on there would be like a noticeable bump in everything, but like not like so many people are just off Twitter anyway, right? Like so it's just I don't know.
That was the thing. Even when Twitter was thriving, I was like, how much is if I post about like, hey, I wrote on this thing, check it out, or hey, I guested on this podcast, check it out. How much does that really drive action? How many people actually follow up on that? Or is that just like a thing that kind of like, oh, I get a bunch of likes on this and I feel good about myself? But like, I don't know. I don't know if that actually has any effect.
I feel like there was a time where it did actually drive
for sure.
clicks and listens,
so.
definitely. But it's just now like
I think too. What I would say is it's more like new projects as well. Like it's like if you launched something, you know, and then it was getting seen by everybody that you would want to see it, you know, where you're just like, oh, this isn't like cool. Someone I know is doing this thing that I like. Maybe it's not specifically like, oh, I was on this podcast or whatever, but you know, like I just think of, you know, starting the Jeopardy podcast with Emily Heller, and she has like 90,000 followers on Twitter and like 35,000 followers on Instagram. And like the first week that was out, we got like 50 followers on Twitter. And like 5 years ago, your conversion rate on like 90,000 followers to getting people to like follow a new thing you're doing was so much higher.
Yeah.
So I think that's it too, is it's not even so much that like people are even necessarily using it less. Like I do think people are using it less, but it's also people who are using it. They're like, I'm not following another thing. I'm done. I'm done following. I don't want to, I'm just like, leave me alone, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to say for us too, because our podcast is about the internet. So that also changes the equation, I think, too. Whereas like with Nick, for you, Nick, like your podcast is very not that, right? It's very like offline. We're talking about restaurants and whatever. Like, so I think that has also maybe had an effect where, you know, Stefan being like a really good Twitter guy, having a podcast about Twitter made a lot of sense. And then now he doesn't have Twitter. And people are
so
like,
it's like,
okay, well,
yeah.
so the Twitter guy doing the Twitter podcast doesn't have Twitter anymore.
Yeah. And I do think in general, people are just wanting to get more offline, like
For
as
sure.
they get older.
For sure.
So yeah, it's.
I think for me, and I know, and I apologize because I know this update is itself pretty joyless, but like I will say that when I took a month off of Twitter, because I did that I did that in an August, I want to say 2 years ago. It's possible it was even 3 years ago at this point, but I just took a month off. And I was just like, because that is one thing I'm decent at, is that I will let go of things and then just sort of see like, how do I feel afterwards? And I took a month off of Twitter and I never went back. Because I was just like, I feel better. I'm less stressed. I'm less anxious. I'm not getting angry at strangers. I have way more time than expected. I had no idea what a time sink this thing was, but like it can very easily suck an hour or two away from your day. And that's like a huge proportion of your waking hours, especially if you're working. You're a huge amount of your free time is being sucked away. So
no, ultimately
it was transformative for me. Yeah,
it's good for sure, and people should do it, and I should do it, and I do not blame Stefan for doing it. I'm just having some fun. Stefan, what's going on your social media that you don't have anymore?
Well, I saw a really good tweet, John.
Oh, how? No.
Well, I saw it on Blue Sky, which is essentially everyone just posting the shit they saw on Twitter over on a different website, but it was as soon as I saw it, I sent it to you. It made me think of you immediately. I
wonder why.
Reason. And this was I've sent you the post, Dan. But this is JD Vance walking away from, I guess, Air Force 2. He's like not on that plane, by the way, because he's not the vice president.
No.
And saying this Entourage reboot is going to be awesome. Just like, and I know their whole thing is like bad posts to get quote tweets, to drive engagement, all that shit. But he's such an off-putting worm that I think there's like diminishing returns on that. And I don't consider him to be like a human being, but I do think getting insulted this much, like all the time by everyone who encounters him, probably is weighing on him in some way, shape, or form.
Well, yeah, because he had that quote yesterday where someone asked him that like very innocuous question, and he just like jumped down their throat. Did you see that?
About, like, what makes you happy or something?
Yeah, he's what makes you happy? What makes you smile? And he's like, lots of things make me smile, like bogus questions like that. It's like, dude, you're running for VP. Just say like, my family. My family makes.
I think someone asked him the classic question, like, why would people want to have a beer with you? And then he was like, ha ha ha, I like beer. Yeah, it's like completely biffing it. But John,
just a slow pitch softball across the plate.
Yeah,
it's just fucking knock that out of the park. What are you doing?
Say a beer you like.
Exactly.
Like it's there's so many easy things you could do there. But John, I wanted to get,
I'm buying. How about that? There you go.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Totally.
John, I wanted to get your thoughts on this because you famously are a bit of an Entourage fan.
A bit is a little bit of an understatement, Stefan. Kind of a huge Vincent Chase head. We call ourselves chasers.
Right.
Wow.
I think that's okay. That might be something else. But I do think like he got this wrong, right? Because Entourage, there's like way less people in the Entourage.
Way less. There's
way
only
less
three.
people.
There's only 3 people in the Entourage. None of them look like this.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
Well, he kind of does look like Turtle.
Yeah, I did see someone post like Entourage : oops, all turtles.
Yeah.
Which was really good. I mean, it's clearly it's clearly not Entourage at all. Sort of missing the kind of what made Entourage really cool and special, just 4 guys from New York trying to make it big in LA.
Sure.
He doesn't have the juice, juice to even, and it's also like, I mean, I'm obviously just kind of joking around, but like Entourage isn't cool. Like if you're like, whose vote is he courting there?
He's like literally courting your vote.
But me?
Yeah, like
he's doing bad.
Yeah.
But But you know what I mean? Like, who's
Sure.
seeing that tweet and going, JD 8 with that one? Like, what a fucking great tweet, you know?
Well,
like,
yeah, and its cultural relevance has completely disappeared. I mean, but that it disappeared so quickly because like once it went off the air, then they had the Entourage movie, and that was such a bomb. Like no one gave a shit, and that came out like what. A lot of times these movies that are based on TV shows, they're like hits because people are like, oh yeah, it's back, and just like no one. It wasn't like the Sex and the City movie. No one cared.
Well, it came out too late too. It was like way too long after the show was over, and then the moment was over. I mean, the Entourage movie is really, really bad. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
I did see it.
I have not seen it. No,
I wouldn't recommend it. It doesn't really have an ending. Like it actually feels like they just ran out of money, and they're like, "All right, well, that's the end now," because there isn't really a story. I mean, Entourage doesn't really have a story either. So, yeah, it was not very good. I'll say.
Wait, when did Entourage go off the air? It looks like the movie came out in 2015.
Yeah, I want to say
it went up there at like 2010, 2011, maybe.
Oh wow, so it was that long. I thought it was just a couple years afterwards.
It was quite long, I believe. Yeah, because I remember it
4 or 5 years.
Okay, it went off the air in 2011. Yeah.
Okay.
So 4 years to get the movie out. And I just think like
but if it had any lasting impact, 4 years is still a time where people are like, oh my God, Entourage is back. Let's go see the movie. And just no one cared. I remember Jeremy Piven at the time going to buy popcorn. Like he went to show up to like talk before a screening, and it was like a quarter full theater. And he like bought everyone popcorn. It was so depressing.
Jesus Christ.
It just because I think no one thought, because I think you're right, Wiger. Like I think when a TV show does a movie, you can kind of buy like, oh, there's some unfinished business here. There's some untold stories. Entourage was like, no, we got it. We got it's all the stories we needed. We got, and there's nothing that's captivating about doing this.
No,
not good.
One last thing before we move on to yours, John, is that our friend Drill just had a screenshot of his tweet in a Harris Walls press release, like an official press release. So
wow, which tweet?
It's and another thing, I'm not mad. Please don't put in the newspaper that I got mad. And it's about Trump's insane press conference from this morning. So really good. Really good stuff.
They've quoted Drill a few times.
They have.
Like, even on Twitter too. They
have. And they've used the quotes like correctly as well, which is impressive.
I hope they're paying our boy Drill, or should I say whoever bought Drill's account 5 years ago.
It is someone different.
I
do actually think that. John, what's going on your social media?
Well, Stefan, I think Wiger, I think it's a good, a good thing that you got rid of Twitter, but, and I think it's because, like you said, a lot of times the joy from Twitter is gone. But our friend and past guest, Josiah Hughes, he's kind of become a real shit heel online, and it's working because the only people who are left on Twitter are ostensibly like kind of normie type people who don't understand the internet anymore. And so Josiah tweeted this, and Dan, you can bring it up here, but it's clearly not him. It is a Photoshop of the cartoon character Bluey. It's a tattoo. Someone did get this tattoo.
I think it's a real tattoo.
It is a real tattoo, but Josiah tweeted like he got this tattoo. He wrote, "New ink, hurt like heck, but it's healing like heaven. But to any breeders out there, please stop your little seed spawns from talking to me about it. It's giving me the ick."
Oh my God.
Which this went viral enough that Yahoo Australia wrote an entire article about it. And it says the headline is "Bluey fan outrages parents with quote cringe tattoo request." Another quote, "just so unhinged." They're basically, it got shared on X, and then someone else posted it in a Bluey fan group where it drew over 1,000 comments.
Oh my God.
Here are some of the comments. "I want kids to stop noticing my tattoo of a children's cartoon character," one person scoffed. "How can I get attention while also being a complete tool? I got it," another mocked. "Someone tell the original poster that he's entitled to a child-free life, not a child-free world," said a third. And then several of the comments also described the post as yucky or cringe due to the language used by the poster.
Oh.
I think referring to people as breeders is more ick than a child approaching someone who tattooed a child's cartoon character on a very obvious spot. But yeah, okay. That entire thing was gross. And yes, I'm aware it was supposed to be funny. It wasn't. Added another. And then they have a whole section of the article that's devoted to figuring out whether or not Josiah actually got this tattoo. It's
just like the easiest thing to figure out. Yeah.
Is this fake? They bring in a fucking doctor to analyze it. Says the subhead is, so was it even a real tattoo? Speaking to Yahoo Lifestyle, Dr. TJ Thompson, a visual communications expert and senior lecturer at RMIT, said, one of the first things to do when you're uncertain about the context of an image is to run it through a reverse image search to see where else it might have been published online.
Sure.
Doing so with this image reveals that an identical copy was shared about 3 years ago in September 2021. So this suggests that at Josiah Hughes's claim last month that the tattoo is his and is new is false. So thank you for that, Doctor. You did some real good work.
It's such
there.
a good bit. The character of guy who loves kids TV show but hates kids and calls them like crotch spawn or whatever is just like such an incredible character. And
that's
like
go on.
No, it's like designed in a lab to like piss people off.
It's so great because it's also a real guy. Like the Pixar guy is like a real thing. I remember just like Pixar fans wanted like child-free screenings of Pixar movies, but like for it to be Bluey, which is like entertainment for literal babies.
Yes,
it's so great.
So funny.
Adult Bluey fan is a very funny thing to LARP as.
Yeah, it would be like three guys going on a podcast and complaining about like the lore of Despicable Me, right? Like it's just like
it's fucking
it's insane. Oh my god, yeah.
Well, and then he did follow up, so he gets all these retweets and whatever, and then 4 days later he followed up with he replied to the tweet. Welp, my trip to Disneyland was totally ruined. Even with Fast Pass, I was constantly accosted by snot-nosed shitlings pointing and staring, not to mention the hate I'm getting online. I've literally wanted this tattoo for years, but I didn't think it would end up like this. And then he posted a screenshot confirming an appointment with a laser tattoo removal place. So just a really good classic bit online from our friend Josiah. So thank you very much just for that entertainment, Josiah. Really great. And let's have some more entertainment with our block tale.
What did you tweet? You brought receipts, blocktail. Woo! No longer can see that post. It's a blocktail. Woo! You probably deserved it. It's a blocktail.
All right, Wiger, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much. So I was thinking back on this, and this is from a few years ago. This is like pre-pandemic.
Okay.
And I can't remember the specific name of the account, but I think it was, I did a little bit of searching to try and figure out I think it was Reagan Battalion. You ever talked about Reagan Battalion?
That I recognize.
We have never
that
talked
name.
about it, no.
Yeah. I do recognize that name, though.
I could be wrong. It was definitely an account that had Reagan in the username.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have a particular, and I think like a lot of leftists really hate Ronald Reagan because what he did to America is what Margaret Thatcher did in the UK, just completely, dissembled the public sector and busted unions and just kind of led us into this, fracturing of wealth, this huge growth of income inequality, like all the deregulation that all began under Reagan, just a real true piece of shit. But he's like lionized by the American right, like they love him so much, and we can look forward to them doing the same thing about
They
Trump
love him for all the reasons you just listed.
Exactly, they love all that shit. They love him. So there was a Reagan account. I can't remember what it tweeted, but it tweeted something particularly noxious. And I was just like pissed off. And so I just replied to it. Ronald Reagan died jacking off. Really half-assed.
Sure, yeah.
Like a low effort sort of like dunk. But I was just sort of like fuck you, I'm mad at you, and that's what I replied to them. They sent like a very like haughty like reply. They might have even quote tweeted me.
Yeah.
But it was just basically like the level of discourse we'd expect from today's radical left, very respectful of our former president, whatever. It was like something like really, really high and mighty about it. So I replied to that tweet And I said, Ronald Reagan still has Alzheimer's in hell. He doesn't know where he is or why he's there. He's just scared and confused and hot. And then, and after that, they blocked me.
Oh my
God,
god,
that's my story.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is really good.
Yeah, that's really fun. I really that was so like, because I don't think you can really do that on Twitter anymore, because you probably would actually get banned for it, because you're going after like a right wing. Because like I've had multiple friends who have gotten suspended or banned, and they figured out a way to game the system to get back, which is to say, I was suspended or banned for my political views, and then in brackets, I'm right wing, and they'll get unbanned for that.
Wow, that's wild.
So I think you may actually have gotten suspended or banned for that if you did that nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we friend of the show, Lauren L. Walker. I don't know if you saw this, Stefan, but she figured out that apparently there is like a follower size cutoff for using the word cisgender.
Yes, I did.
So, and
Yeah.
there's various words like that, but yeah, it's weird because people started to figure out like Elon would tweet cisgender and other people would tweet that word and nothing would happen. But then people with smaller accounts were being it was just like a little notice would pop up underneath being like,
and it would hide the reply, I think.
It would hide the reply, and then it would says this falls under Twitter's like terms of service as like hate speech, basically.
It's so insane. Yeah.
But then they figured out that if you have a certain number of followers, then I guess they just assume that you're like a right-wing person using that or influencer or whatever. So so Lauren had all these people replying to her trying to figure out like what the exact number was of, like,
that's wild.
Who can tweet it and who can't. It's so crazy. I mean, it's so crazy.
It's nuts, because the whole thing now is like, I mean, this was bad enough even, like 6 years ago or whatever, but like right-wing like grievance like psychos posting like pure just like quote tweet bait, right? Where like it would be someone being like a verified like former like Senate candidate who got like 20 votes, right? But they just ran for Senate to get the blue check at the time when the blue check meant something. Right. And they'd post something and they'd be like, there's no such thing, there was no gender in the Old Testament or whatever. And then you get all these like well-meaning liberals like quote tweeting them and being like, well, here's an example of gender in the Bible. Here's an example. And it's like, well, they want you to like quote tweet them and like spread their like hate. And like now that's like monetized, right? So you'll get people with blue checks posting the most like horrible shit because they want to get yelled at because they get paid for it. It's just so bad.
Yeah.
Do you ever just like wonder in a general sense like what the economy is exactly?
Yes.
So just think like that, like people are making like money is changing hands over this. Like what is going on? I think about that sometimes when I go like I think about like branded content. It's just like the people making this don't want to make it. The people seeing it don't want to see it. Like this is like people don't want to make this, and the audience is nobody. But like a bunch of money is changing hands for this.
Oh, like Twitch has like the bounty board, and I remember it's sort of died down a little bit, I think, which was bound to happen at some point. But it used to be that like me and JF could like watch a trailer for like the Mortal Instruments or the Mortal Engine, whatever that fantasy series was.
Oh, right.
And the movie didn't do very well, but we'd watch a trailer for it and they would just be like, here's like $400. Like, okay, we watched it for like 1 minute on our stream and everyone in the chat was being like, this looks like a huge piece of dog shit. Like, it actively made people not want to see it, and then you paid us for it. So like, what are we doing here, But,
and then I think that I guess that I had a friend who was trying to explain that like this becomes a slide on an end of third quarter presentation when they show how much Twitch engagement they got on their marketing campaign, and like that's the whole point for it.
It's all
it's
all
numbers.
Fake.
It's just numbers. It's not who's seeing and reacting. It's nothing to do with reaction, right? Like it used to be. And this still happens to a smaller extent, but it used to be, let's get a focus group in here and let's get people's opinions. Now it's just like, let's just get people. We just need people to see it. It doesn't matter how they're engaging with it or what they care about. It's strictly the number of people who
and the
see
numbers
it.
are all like lies too. Like obviously you had like the pivot to video, which was like based on like total bullshit, like fake
Facebook
numbers.
just made it up.
And then the big one now is like the Twitter video thing, right? Where like Jim Rome is now doing his like show live on X, right? Which is so fucking funny. And if you like, I remember when he was doing, I like clicked on it and it's like, it would say at the bottom, it was like 800,000 views. and it's meant to like they put it in such a way where it's meant to look like that's how many people are watching it live at the moment, and it's not. It's the number of views, but even that is fake because what they count as views is like, oh, this was like retweeted into someone's feed and they scrolled by it at like 100 miles per hour and saw like half a second of it, or it was like a sponsored post, or it's like at the top of a trending topic and someone saw like a second of it, and that counts as a full view. Like for sure, that's exactly what's happening. Right?
Oh, I worked for a website, Funny or Die, and we made videos, and it was one of many websites that just got completely destroyed by the shell game that was Facebook video. Yeah, because things that, like the same thing, like a view on mute for 3 seconds counted as a view on Facebook video. Yeah. So people were just like they paused for like 1 second while they were scrolling down their feed, and that would count as, then the numbers would tick up endlessly. So it seemed like, well, shit, if we put this on the Funny or Die main player, or if we put this on YouTube, we're getting whatever 100K views. But if we put this up on Facebook video, all of a sudden we're getting 4 million views. Well, we got to orient everything towards Facebook video, but the way it was monetized was completely unsustainable, and then also was just all completely fake. Like it was total fucking bullshit. Everyone was just chasing like made up numbers.
It's essentially what happened when I worked in LA for a website. Like they opened an office there, like based on those numbers, pretty much.
Oh right, yeah,
and
yeah,
then,
yeah.
Like it was gone within like a year. So
Just
correlation to you starting to work there and it shutting down within a year.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I'm sure.
Okay, just checking it out. We have a great listener block that's kind of along the lines of shitty internet content. This one is from Michael, and I will say maybe at the end of this there might be a reason why I'm reading it, because it's just a smart little sign off. Hello, boys. Well, it's also a good block tale. Hello, boys. About 10 years ago, I started writing community posts on BuzzFeed mocking their listicle style, which was both timely and relevant. I got about a half dozen in before I had my posting privileges revoked and one of my articles removed. BuzzFeed had posted a photo gallery of happy-looking dogs that had just been adopted from a local shelter, wholly lifting images and writing no captions. It was maybe the laziest post they ever put out. It was called something like 21 photos of dogs after being adopted. I took every one of the images, cited the original article, and changed the title to 21 photos of dogs on their way to be put down. The article lasted a day. The article lasted a day before I was banned for image leeching, which was BuzzFeed's entire business model. Congrats on 300 episodes, Michael. So very smart sign off. Perfect one to read on episode 300, and a great use of BuzzFeed system.
Really
thank you so much,
done.
Michael.
Yeah.
If you want to have
another website that just like doesn't exist anymore, by the way.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to send in a listener block, you can do so. Send us an email, blocked@blockparty.com, and maybe we'll read it on the show. You can also donate to the show at patreon.com/blockparty. $5 a month gets you access to 3 bonus episodes every single month, including this week. We have a cameo episode coming up. I won't say the guest just in case it doesn't happen, but it will be up. We have a great guest, word up. It's one of our favorite things to do on the show. So make sure you check that out. We also have ad-free episodes, merch discounts, all that good stuff. So check it out at patreon.com/blockparty. And of course, our live show is coming up in Vancouver, BC, October 11th and 12th at the Biltmore Cabaret with guys and not even a show. 4 shows, 2 nights, 1 low price. Check it out at bit.ly/top3weekend. You can also follow us online, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Block Party Pod, Blue Sky, and YouTube at Block Party. And of course, if you like the show, tell a friend. All right, we're here at the end of the show. That means it's time for the top 3.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Uno, 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 uno.
Mustard.
3.
Socks. 2. Girlfriends.
Uno, 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 uno.
All right, Wiger, what are we ranking here?
Okay, so I was thinking about the Paris Olympiad, and there's I live in Los Angeles. The 2028 Olympics are going to be in LA. Yes. And there's this stunt that's been leaked where supposedly Tom Cruise is going to fly the Olympic torch from Paris to LA and then parachute onto the Hollywood sign or something of that nature. And I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan. I think he's maybe our greatest American. Just a great movie star. Love him very much. And I thought we could do our top 3 Tom Cruise movies.
Oh, wonderful!
So-
I mean, I think John knows I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan as well.
Yeah, and it's because of his religious stuff.
Well, the thing is, I thought it was bad for a while, and then you see him do like hang out of a helicopter in Mission Impossible Fallout, and you're like, maybe there's something to this.
Yeah, maybe it's good. Maybe I should just do it.
Also, he started looking really like puffy and bad for a little bit, and now he looks good again. So
he looks great.
He pulled out of like the bad plastic surgery spiral, which I didn't think was possible to do as a celebrity.
Whatever he's doing. I mean, he's got the best people over there. We went to for on a Doughboys Patreon episode. We went to there's a Scientology Celebrity Center here. There's a bunch of different Scientology outputs. The Scientology Celebrity Center is specifically like their big like recruitment facility, and they have a service there where if you go and you watch the church service, then there's a Scientology brunch you can have. And so we went to the Scientology brunch.
Okay.
So you go, you sit through, and then it's a big, service talking up L. Ron Hubbard's principles or whatever. It's a weird, just sort of like pseudo religious thing in a kind of like a big conference room, kind of an auditorium setting. And then you go to the brunch, and I got to tell you, I was expecting to be wowed because I was like, this is the Celebrity Center. There's so much money behind this. Yeah. And they're trying to use this as a recruitment vehicle. They're trying to get people in on their, to join their organization. That brunch sucks so bad. It was fucking horrible. The food was so bad. I don't know if you've ever had like, I've never encountered a brunch where the egg option was hard-boiled eggs. Like they had deviled eggs. Yeah, that was what they're serving.
They didn't have scrambled eggs.
I don't remember. I mean, there might have been like one of those, but it was like a hotel like continental breakfast tier sort of like brunch, where I was expecting luxury. And also, I didn't realize you had to pay for it. I thought this was going to be a complimentary thing, but no, we got charged like $25 a head plus gratuity. So like it was actually kind of expensive for what you got. Then afterwards, there's like a post meal thing where you have to go through a tour and they make you like hold on to the dowsing rods or whatever it is.
Right.
But the one weird thing is, so the hard boiled eggs are very, very prominent there. Like they're really like pushing the hard boiled eggs. As part of the post meal experience, they have you watch a video about Scientology, and that kind of just shows like crises you can be in and what could happen, how Scientology could bring you out of. And it's just things like whatever, someone's panicking, they got to give the big speech, but these Scientology principles can help them. One of the scenarios is someone is at a lunch and they eat a hard-boiled egg and they get food poisoning. And I was like, what is this meant? Like, what are they doing to my brain? What amount of indoctrination is this? Because it's like, I know there's something going on, but I can't like divine what it is exactly.
Right.
Like they're kind of maybe almost just implanting in your head, like, hey, you just put yourself in a dangerous situation. We can help you right now.
I think that's exactly what it is, right? Because
so weird.
The hard-boiled eggs would stand out to most anyone who's there, right? And then for that to show up in the PSA afterwards, like that's on purpose for sure.
Yeah, really a truly bizarre experience.
Oh my God.
I still sometimes think about joining just for the career side of things.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What else
it can't hurt. I mean, it can't hurt. Okay, well, Nick, what's your number 3 top cruise movie? Cruise movie.
Yeah. This is really Top Cruise is good.
Thank you. That was a complete accident, but I did like it.
No, it actually kind of works. It's really tough because like I kind of want to acknowledge all the periods of cruise, and like I also am just like a like so many of his movies are I think legit good that it's hard to narrow it down to just 3. But I think I'm gonna go back to a film that is directed by Rob Reiner with an Aaron Sorkin script. And has some incredible, just a political thriller, which is a genre I love. A Few Good Men.
Rewatched that recently as well.
Awesome movie.
Irene and I have been watching like 90s legal dramas. For the past like month or so, and that was on the list, and it fucking rocks.
Yeah, I guess as much a legal thriller as a political thriller. Legal drama is a political thriller, which is also an awesome genre.
Great cast.
So you're watching just mostly like John Grisham book adaptations?
Well, I mean, honestly, like The Firm is
really good.
The Firm is great.
Not a Tom Cruise movie, but The Rainmaker is fantastic.
I think maybe that'll be on the list. We watched The Pelican Brief, which I like.
Also very good. Yep.
Rainmaker, is that the Matt Damon one? Who's
Yeah,
in
Matt Damon and Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
And then also what's the Susan Sarandon one? It's not The Client. What the
Oh,
hell's
no,
it
it is the client.
It is the
It is
client.
the
Yeah.
client. Yeah.
With like the kid.
Yeah, that one rocks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's really good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stefan.
Yeah, I mean, Few Good Men. Also, I will say, I posted this on Blue Sky, but Kevin Pollak in that has several fits where it's like just straight up George Costanza in Seinfeld. Like it's the exact same outfit. Which I thought that was a nice.
That rocks.
That was a nice little bit there. But number three,
he's a lovely man. I've been lucky to interact with him, and he's
That's
guest on
right,
Doughboys before. Yeah, lovely.
yeah,
Man.
Nice.
he seems great. I was kind of thinking of like the older Tom Cruise movies as well, but like I think I'm set on my top 3, and they're all kind of more recent. I'll go with I gotta go with Top Gun Maverick, number 3.
Awesome movie.
Fucking love
So
that
fucking
movie.
good.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. It's just like seeing that in theaters too. Like I took my parents to go see it, and my mom hates Tom Cruise. Because of like the Scientology stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like rightfully so, I think. Actually, there's a movie later on my list that I took her to see first, and she was like, "Oh, you know what? His movies are pretty good." But she had watched Top Gun for the first time, like the original one, the night before, to get ready to go see this one, and she's like, "This one blows Top Gun away. Like it's just so, oh my god, like the music in it, the sound in it. It's Christopher McQuarrie again, of course.
Yeah.
He's wonderful. Obviously, like Glenn Powell steals the show as like a smarmy dickhead. He's so good in that type of role. But just what a great movie. And you know what? Maybe I'll watch it again this weekend. It's been long enough.
The also just like the geopolitical calculation of the enemy is just going to be like a bad guy. It's just like a bad country. You're never going to see anyone's face. Like we're going to see enemy fighter jets. Their faces are in full helmets, so we can't even tell, the like what their ethnicity might be. We're just going to say they're the bad guys, and we're going to bomb them. It's great.
Really smart. And also you have like different like you're in like kind of a deserty area when you're coming in off the ocean, flying in, but then you end up in like the snow and like the mountains and everything. I think people kind of figured out it's probably Iran, I think is what their guess was. But great movie. That's my number 3. John?
Yeah, great pick.
I'll say this, Stefan, you know as well as anybody, when I do movie-related top 3s,
Yes.
it's not very good because I haven't seen a lot of movies. But I'm shocked at how many Tom Cruise movies I've seen, actually.
Hell yeah.
There's just so many
Like,
classics.
I'm looking at his list, and I have I'm actually eliminating movies I like, which normally if I do a top 3 movies, it's like, these are the 3 that I've seen, and I'll just rank them. But I'm actually eliminating movies like Days of Thunder, not going to make my list, which is a great movie. But I'm going to go number 3. I got to go just a classic high school English teacher move. I got to go with The Outsiders. Not that Tom Cruise is like a star of it by any means, but he does play kind of a badass character.
Yeah.
He's Steve in it, and he's very good. It's The Outsiders is just like a sick movie in general. When you think of the book is very cool, and you're like, how could we make this into a cool movie? And the movie is extremely cool, and there's so many cool actors in it as well.
Such a good cast. The cast is insane.
The cast is unbelievable. So really great movie. That's my number 3. Wiger, your number 2.
I think Outsiders, just real quick, is a great pick, just because that's kind of like also his like, hey, I'm here, and obviously Risky Business follows it up, and that's like his starring term. But The Outsiders really put him on the map
for sure.
Okay. Number 2, it starts to get trickier because I know what my number 1 is, and my number 1 has been locked all the way because it's literally my favorite movie of all time.
Oh wow!
So my number 2 is like, that's like, what else do I get on my list? There's so many great options here. I'm a huge Eyes Wide Shut fan. I love Magnolia. I really like, I really like the Jack Reacher franchise, particularly the first movie. A lot of stuff that I could shout out, but I'm going to land on Minority Report, which is such an awesome sci-fi film, and I think just has a relentless pace to it. It's kind of Spielberg at the peak of his powers, and also I feel like it's Tom Cruise at like kind of the peak of his relevance. That was just like he was like as big as he ever got, I feel like, when he was making Minority Report in that sort of era. So I love that movie, and that's my number 2.
It's a great choice. That's a really good choice.
Yep.
Number 2 for me, I think my top 2 were locked in all the way. Number 2 for me is Edge of Tomorrow.
Wow, hell yeah.
I fucking love that movie. That is just maybe a perfect like sci-fi action adventure movie. Again, Christopher McQuarrie, So maybe a theme here in my top 3 as well. Great cast too. You've got Bill Paxton, Brendan Gleeson. It's just, you know, like, and Emily Blunt, of course, is wonderful in that movie. She looks great. She does. I
Just
wish
had to add that in there.
I wish they had gone with the original name of the Japanese novel, All You Need Is Kill, which is such a fucking cool name.
Great name.
Edge of Tomorrow, I guess, more marketable. But it's just, and I think also Tom Cruise is so good playing like really like slimy guys because he is kind of a bit of a sleaze, you know. And just like he's a guy that like a lot of people do hate, right? So when in this movie he starts out as like this dickhead like war reporter or whatever, and then by the end he's like this like big tough guy. It's just a great, I mean, I guess it's character development, but and it's just a really fun movie, and that's one that I'll watch usually once a year.
So I mean, like the time loop structure is super duper cool, and I think it's the best one of those that isn't Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
and also, so what you talked about the Japanese source. I read the manga last year. All You Need Is Kill. It's interesting because in the manga, the protagonist is like 18. He's like a private, like fresh out of like boot camp.
Okay,
and so it's one of those interesting challenge of adaptations of like, oh well, now we're gonna base this around a 50-year-old movie star. How do we figure that out? But I think they
nailed it.
They nailed it for sure.
Because it's the guy who like is technically in the army, but like not really.
Right. And so they had, and you mentioned also, you know, All You Need Is Kill as an alt title. There was also an alt title, Live, Die, Repeat.
Yes,
which I think is better. Which they maybe have retitled.
I think they've kind of
point.
retitled it, which is a weird move. They retitled it, I think, when it came out on like Blu-ray or whatever.
Yeah, because Edge of Tomorrow unfortunately sounds kind of generic.
It's really generic. Yeah,
but it is a really really cool premise.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of Tom Cruise playing like slimy, sleazy guys, and maybe this is a controversial choice, but number 2, I'm going Jerry Maguire.
Wow.
Perfect sports agent. Like, if you could just imagine someone playing a sleazy sports agent. I mean, it's just perfect casting. Cuba Gooding Jr., obviously, lots of faults. Probably not a great guy, but is fantastic in this movie. Love the Renee Zellweger turn at the end. Jonathan Lipnicki, perfect child actor. It's a great movie. I've seen it like 5 times. I never get tired of seeing it. Great film.
Good choice.
Yeah,
really
great
good
choice.
Yeah,
great choice. Nothing controversial about that in my book.
Well, thank you. Wiger, you're number 1.
My number 1 was locked from the get-go. My favorite movie is Mission Impossible Fallout. The 6th Mission Impossible. I just think it's so awesome. The stunts are so great. The pace, again, I'll mention pace, but the pace is just relentless. Another Christopher McQuarrie movie. And I just think it's a perfect action movie. I just think like every single set piece works. And it never lets up. And I think the Mission Impossible films all work to varying degrees, but that's the one that like works the most. So I absolutely love that movie. My number 1 Tom Cruise movie, my number 1 film of all time.
Wow.
So
big praise.
Honorable
is that
mention.
The Burj Khalifa one where he's
no,
that's
Ghost Protocol,
which is also awesome.
Still very good. Yeah. Honorable mention, Collateral.
That was tough to leave off. My list as well.
He's so good in that.
Good. I got to rewatch that because it was excellent.
It's really good. My number 1. Yeah. I did too. Yeah. My number 1 also Mission Impossible Fallout. Legitimately, it is just like a perfect movie. I saw it in theaters. I think like 4 times.
Yeah.
I took my parents to go see it. They fucking loved it. I've watched it so many times. Like I'll watch that like twice a year. It's just like such a good movie to put on. The story's great. Like you said, the pace, like the pacing is just like incredible. Like it just doesn't stop, right? You go from like chase, you know, bit of a come down, then another big chase, and they keep like topping the previous chase. I mean, for the fact that like 15 minutes into the movie, they're jumping out of an airplane like 40,000 feet in the air, and they did it for real is like the craziest shit in the world. Like, Henry Cavill's so good. Just like his turn in that is incredible. Refused to shave his mustache to the detriment of his Superman movie. Like the right choice. The mustache does so much in Fallout. It's great. It's also Fallout is so good that Dead Reckoning comes out. I guess originally Dead Reckoning Part 1. And that movie is still like one of the best movies. I loved it. Last year is like awesome.
but it's still just like, but it's no Mission Impossible Fallout.
It didn't feel like a disappointment, but it was just like you can't not compare it to Fallout.
Exactly right, same franchise.
Yeah, that's my number one. Though. It was all locked in all the way.
Maybe obvious. Mission Impossible 2 Limp Bizkit theme song. No, I'm joking.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It is a good movie, but no, my number one. Maybe this is not a surprise. I have only seen Mission Impossible 1 and 2, so I haven't gotten into the new ones. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
You honestly should.
But my number one Tom Cruise movie is The Color of Money.
Great choice.
Wow.
Love it. I was a huge pool nerd when I was a kid. My family got a pool table right when I moved.
Wiger, by that he means he wouldn't take his shirt off in one.
No, I had a good body. I never had a problem taking my shirt off. But
I believe child you had a good body.
Yeah. He's a buff child. Yeah.
Not now. Yeah. But yeah, my parents got me got our family a pool table when I was like 14, right when we moved to BC. Didn't have a ton of friends yet. Still don't. I played a ton of pool, rented that movie, loved it. I mean, Paul Newman, Tom Cruise, what more could you want? He's so good in that as well, just as the cocksure pool hustler. He's perfect.
Oh, him playing off Paul Newman in that is just like wonderful.
Yeah, what a torch tremendous. Pass from movie star to movie star generationally.
Absolutely tremendous. And I haven't seen it in a while, so I might actually go back and rewatch it.
We watched it earlier this year, and Irene and I loved it. I think give yourself a nice treat this weekend. Rewatch it. Give it a go. Yeah,
that's my number one.
Wow, what a great top three.
Do you ever think about the podcast format you've committed yourself to? Because we over on Doughboys, we have to just eat so much garbage food and just punish our bodies.
We've been eating healthier lately, and
we've been trying to eat
and your fans aren't mad about that or anything.
Yeah, they're kind of mad, but
they're going to Sweet Green again.
Yeah, we did a month of we're in the midst of a month of fruits and vegetables, and I think people are upset we broke format a little bit, which is fine. But then also what y'all are doing is you're kind of mining the dregs of the internet, having to live in the just get in the muck a little bit. And you ever think I wish I would just been hey, I'm just gonna watch all the Tom Cruise movies. I wish I wish that had been the podcast format I'd picked years ago.
The idea came up
right there, Cruise Control.
Yeah,
hey, there you go.
It's done.
The idea I came up with today during this episode was if we were going to rebrand or something, what if it's just all me showing John Rule 34 stuff? I mean, that's a fucking show right there. And I'm not even joking. I'm actually not joking.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible to me. So I'm vetoing that idea, but
give it some more thought though, because I feel like you could do a different character every episode, right?
That's I
sort of lends itself
who's that
to the
for?
form.
Who's that podcast for? Stephanie?
I guess it's for me.
Yeah, exactly, and that is about it. Nick, thank you so much for being here. Pleasure to have you back on the show. Before we go, anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, hey, you mentioned up top, check out Doughboys, a podcast about chain restaurants with me and Mike Mitchell. Mitch was supposed to be here, but unfortunately had diarrhea. So tell Mitch to get well.
All those fruits and vegetables.
Yeah. Couldn't handle it. And if you just want to add him, hey, I hope your diarrhea is better. I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
Definitely.
And also check out Get Played, my video game podcast with Matt Apodaca and Heather Ann Campbell. And that's just sort of a general sort of grab bag of game-related topics. But those are the two things I got going on.
Wonderful. I do
also,
want to say,
How to Break Up with Your Phone, the book I talked about, Catherine Price. I'd recommend this to anyone who's maybe dealing with some compulsions regarding social media or just phone usage in general.
There you go. Before we go, I want to shout you and Mitch out for doing the Peep This Out stuff in your videos recently. That's been a nice treat to see.
Yeah, it's kind of an homage to someone we consider kind of an inspiration, you know, the forefather of the genre.
On the Mount Rushmore of fast food review guys.
100%.
Yeah. He's one of the 4 guys who do it.
Yeah.
So he's up there. Everybody, obviously, check out Doughboys, check out Get Played. I saw you guys recently covered the Tony Hawk documentary. Little bit surprised you didn't call your globally ranked Tony Hawk playing friend, but it is a great documentary.
Welcome on anytime.
Anytime you're talking Tony,
I love it.
You know who to call, baby. But yeah, check out all the great projects that Nick is up to, and ours as well. I mean, we're not really project, but we do have that live show coming up in October. Hopefully we'll see you there. bit.ly/top3weekend, patreon.com/block party. We're at Block Party Pod on almost everything. And look, we'll see you back here next week for 301. Goodbye.
And thank you, Howell, for the theme song as well again.
And thank you to
Great
Howell
job,
for the
Howell.
theme song
Great
again.
job.
You're the man,
Wonderful.
Howell. We love you, and we love all of you listening, and we'll see you back here next week. Goodbye.
Congrats on 300.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Yay.